Iran has sent more than 2,000 advanced troops to Iraq in the past couple of days. The stated goal is to tackle a jihadist insurgency. But once they are there and helping, once America gets involved at a new level, and if Iraq does fall or substantially change, one can only wonder what those jihadists have in mind next. Joining us now in Midpoint, President of the Caucus for America, columnist for the American Thinker, the man known as America's Rabbi, Aryeh Spero, joins us today. Rabbi, thanks for being with us.
How you doing there, Ed?
It's a busy day so far, let's put it that way, because we have everything happening around us here, and we're watching everything that's happening overseas, as I know you are as well, very closely. The latest that we have is they have the Islamic militants now about 40 miles north of Baghdad, still moving on Baghdad. Let me ask you this, because with your knowledge of the region and your knowledge of the people there seems to be a feeling from many people that they're not surprised that ISIS is able to do this. They have the wherewithal. They've been putting this together. They're not just a bunch of guys sitting out in the desert with guns. They're actually very well organized, and there are some wondering if indeed, without some sort of intervention, that they can keep ISIS out of Baghdad. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, the people that are affiliated with ISIS, Al-Qaeda, ISIS is just part of the broad network of Al-Qaeda. These are people that are real, true jihadists. They have conviction. They are on a holy war. Many of the soldiers that are in the Iraqi military or the policemen in the Iraqi military, they're not there necessarily out of conviction. They're not going to fight to the death. They're there for bread and butter reasons. That's their paycheck. The people in ISIS, these young men, it reminds me of the hordes during the time of Genghis Khan that were spreading across Asia. These people are conviction. For them, it's the jihad. It's a holy war. And it's hard to fight people who have conviction when basically your people are just there for a check.
Some people seem to be shocked at the savagery that we are seeing, the pictures coming out of there, the executions. Right. Personally, having covered news for a long time and watched and listened, I'm not shocked, and I would wonder why anybody would be shocked. It would seem as if this is the norm for these sort of jihadists, correct?
Absolutely. We mentioned that the jihadists are coming on Baghdad, the Sunni, the ISIS, as if Iran, who's supposed to come to the rescue, are not jihadists. They are jihadists too. Iran has been the state for the last 35, 40 years that has sponsored terrorism since 1979. They've talked about the holy war, Ayatollah Khamenei, destroying America, destroying Israel. They are jihadists. Whenever we see the jihadists, if they're the Sunnis or if they're the Shiites, Boko Haram, if it's what's happening in Egypt against the Coptic Christians, we see a level of brutality that we would never see in the Judeo-Christian West.
Two sides to this story right now when it comes down to Iran. There are those who say that this is an olive branch opportunity. Get involved with Iran, perhaps start to salve some of the wounds for so many decades, perhaps start to bring them a little bit closer. Others, and they have said it on this show, on America's Forum, and others as well, leave them be, walk away, don't touch them. You can't trust the Iranians no matter what you do. Where do you stand?
Absolutely. The Iranians are not all of a sudden going to change. You know, secular politicians think that the Iranians are simply secular politicians and they do what's just good for the moment. The Iranians are a people that are devoutly tied to their jihad, to their holy war. This is what the imams believe in. They're not going to change their whole faith, their whole outlook, simply because of America being nice to them now. I think we've got to keep our eye on the long run, the long ball, which is the great threat is still Iran. It's Iran that's going to have the nuclear bomb. It's Iran that talks about destroying the West, destroying America, destroying Israel. And we shouldn't cozy up to them and somehow give them now a stamp of approval because of some temporary need that we have regarding Iraq, when really they are the big threat. Do we want them to actually somehow take over parts of Iraq and now have double the amount of oil fields and double the wealth for them to promote their jihad? No, I don't think so.
I'm going to speak in real plain language here for a moment with what we've heard from a lot of people. Would you agree then with those who say that if America gets involved with Iran in any way, shape, or form, that we are just stupid?
I think so, but maybe it's worse than stupid. You know, the president basically gave Iran the green light to go ahead and make its bomb. 6 months ago, he basically said we could lift sanctions, and he did it under the cover of saying, well, there's an election now, a new president in Iran, they've changed. No, they haven't. People don't change. Just they had the charm offensive. But basically, he started in motion the whole process of lifting the sanctions. People could maybe buy oil, they could do trade, which would make it easier, facilitate their ability to create that bomb. This is more than just stupid. Sometimes I wonder where the values of the president, Obama, where they are, what's his long-range thinking.
I've only got about 30 seconds left with what's going on in Iran right now. What's the timeline in your mind that this could turn into something even greater? This is the Middle East. We're talking about all these different countries that then will get involved in. Everything that starts in one place grows exponentially sooner or later.
It's going to get worse. We're never going to solve this problem between Sunnis and Shiites and between this group and Islamic group against the other. We have to protect ourselves. At most, we should get our people out, get our assets and machinery out, and leave them to fight their wars. And we have to protect the West, especially America, from the jihad, be it the regular jihad or the soft jihad.
Leave them to fight their wars. It seems to be becoming an opinion that many people are sharing. Rabbi Aryeh Spero, thank you so much for joining us, sir. We will do this again.
Thank you.
It is, if you think about it, you've heard it here on Midpoint, and you're going to hear it a lot more often. People saying, stay away, get out, let them solve everything themselves. Your opinion now. Here it comes on social media. What should we do? Let them settle it? Get involved. It's a simple question. You can do it on Twitter. You can do this via email, or you can get a hold of us on Facebook as well. Give us your opinions, and we will talk about it right here. This is the Newsmax Network, news for intelligent people. And on Midpoint, every day, we question everything.